Hey everyone, I wanted to make a video as promised about talking about shakes and what to avoid because so many of us, we purchase protein shakes or meal replacements or supplemental shakes, whatever, and it can be overwhelming just to try and figure out what is the best shake out there and what are you supposed to look for, what are you supposed to avoid. And so today I just wanted to share with you four things. I call them the Furious Four, things to avoid when you're looking at protein shakes in particular or meal replacement shakes. And when you go to the store and when you're looking at the ingredient label, because don't just read the front, that doesn't give you much information, especially the information you really need to know. So when you're looking at the ingredient label, I want you to look for these four things. These are the things you want to make sure if it's on the label, put it back on the shelf and don't touch it. Okay, so number one is maltodextrin, and it's actually they claim that it's a complex carb, and that's why they put it in these shakes. But actually, it's more of like a filler or a thickening agent, and it's usually even described as an artificial sugar. But there's a lot of issues. It spikes your blood sugar really, really high. In fact, it spikes it higher than if you were to eat some white bread. So it's really ultimately just a filler that your body doesn't really know how to process and is just really bad. So if it says maltodextrin on the back of the protein shake or meal replacement shake that you have picked up, put it back. You don't want it. Number two is soy lecithin. That's another ingredient that is pretty questionable. It's a genetically modified type of soy, and unfortunately for women, it can cause, and it's linked to thyroid issues and estrogen issues, and just not good. So if you see soy lecithin on the back on the ingredient list, put it down, walk away. And obviously, these four things that I'm sharing with you too, if these are on the back of the food products that you're buying, that's also something to avoid and to watch for. But number three, and these are all kind of lumped together, but it's going to be artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners, and artificial colors. So anything artificial that is just added to it to make it, so if somebody's promoting a shake that the flavoring of the shake itself is like, pumpkin pie or cheesecake or something, like if that's just in the powder, avoid it at all costs, because that means that it's artificial flavoring and probably artificial coloring and really, really not good. The artificial sweeteners that you want to look for that are labeled on the ingredient list are going to be sucralose, aspartame, and saccharin. Those are the three things. I mean, and sometimes they come in other forms too, but those were the ones that I would recommend that you look for on the back of the ingredient list. So if any of those three are on there, put it down, because artificial sweeteners, they're just fillers, but they're chemicals, and ultimately they will not help you lose weight, because it tricks the brain into thinking that you need more sugar, and so it's giving you a taste of something artificial that's so much sweeter. So your body starts craving more and more sugar, and it's just like diet soda. It just takes you down a path you don't want to go on. Number four is carrageenan. Hey, you've heard this, you've seen this, and it's something you want to avoid. It's in most milk substitutes, so a lot of coffee creamers and different milks that are not cow's milk. You can look and see things like that. A lot of milk substitute products, that's where you're going to find it. So you want to be very careful. And a lot of times protein shakes, will have that, or supplemental shakes, it may have that on the back, so you want to look for that. It causes inflammation just because the body doesn't really know how to process it. And so you have to be really, really careful. It is a carcinogen as well, so it's linked to cancer and all other things. So as a recap, four things, the Furious Four that you want to look for and avoid at all costs: maltodextrin, number one; number two, soy lecithin; number three, artificial flavors, colors, and sweeteners. So you're going to look for sucralose, aspartame, saccharin. Those are the things that you want to avoid. Number four is carrageenan. So if you see any of those four words on the back of your protein shake or protein container or meal replacement, those are things that you really, really need to avoid. Obviously, I am a huge fan of Shakeology because it does not include any of these things, and it's a very incredible product. And the other thing I want to touch on too real quick is that if you're paying not very much, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks for a protein powder, that's very, very inexpensive, and or a meal replacement especially. If you're paying less than that, less than like 60 bucks or something, just be really, really careful, because if it's that cheap, that means that there's really cheap ingredients that are probably not organic or good for your body or even real food. So if it's a cheap product, then it has cheap ingredients, and you are going to ultimately cause more harm than good in the long run. So hopefully that these tips helped as you are going out and trying to figure out your protein powder or your supplement. And just remember too that our bodies, it's not that we're always protein deficient, we're nutrient deficient. So make sure that you're looking for a shake that is loaded with real nutrients that come from whole foods, it's dense nutrition, and you're not just putting something in your body and wasting space, especially if it's just for the sake of getting extra protein in your body. Your body really ultimately needs more nutrients than just protein. So that is my 2 cents on that. I hope that that helps, and good luck. I would love to hear from you what you decide or what you find. And if you have any questions about Shakeology, what I drink, I'd love to talk more about it with you and share any info that I can. So thanks for listening, guys.